I'm joined by our Sabres analyst, Paul Hamilton. Paul, the Sabres have the trade deadline coming up. The NHL trade deadline is on the way. What do you think that the Sabres, if anything they need to do, should do?
Well, they've got a couple of weeks now, and I know Kevyn Adams wouldn't mind the depth on defense because they lost Casey Fitzgerald on waivers, who, by the way, in a month has not played with the Florida Panthers. He's just sitting there. But they didn't have a lot of depth to start with. So if the price is right, he wouldn't mind adding a defenseman to help out a little bit. I don't see a huge move by them. If it were me, I would be looking for a Timo Meier type of scorer, big, plays both ends of the ice type of a player. He just fits all the boxes for them. But short of that, you know what? If they let these guys just do it on their own, don't be surprised if they just let it go. Kevyn Adams talked about that. He's told me he is not going to make a trade just to make the playoffs this year. He's just not doing that.
And you don't think of a Casey Fitzgerald as being so important to this team, but they are lacking that defensive depth. Is that affecting the goaltending? Because it's been sloppy lately.
It could be a little bit, yeah. I mean, Comrie is the guy who's won 2 in a row now. It's only the third time this year he's done that. But I wouldn't say he had a great game in Anaheim. It was good. Once the third goal went in, he shut the door. But Luukkonen, it was the game coming out of the break. He let in 7. I wouldn't have let him sit there for a week. If he plays against San Jose, it'll be a week. I would have played him against Anaheim, and if I needed to get Comrie in, I would have got him in against San Jose. I think it was just a layoff is why, but he hadn't won in 3 games either, and then Anderson hadn't won. They had a 4-game losing streak. Comrie was the last goalie to win, so they put him in. He had won in Winnipeg, and that was their last win, so he won. But I just want to see what Luukkonen can do because he's had the 1 game coming out of a 9-day break.
Right.
You know, so where is he at? Well, hopefully he'll play against San Jose, and we'll find out.
Well, that break certainly did affect them, and there were 4 losses in between before and after the break. What did the Sabres need to do to keep that energy that they had in their win against Anaheim?
I saw a lot of panic, which I hadn't seen probably since the beginning of last year. Remember when they'd give up 1 goal, next thing you knew, in 3 minutes, 3 goals were in, and they were done.
Right, and that was it.
And it was happening every
game.
game.
End of the game.
Every game it was happening. I haven't seen that in a long time until those 2 games. And all of a sudden it happened. But then it happened against Anaheim. They were up 2-0, dominated the first, gave up 3, and they're behind. But can't panic. It took them 35 seconds to tie the game. Casey Mittelstadt put them ahead before the period was over. That's the Buffalo Sabre team we're used to seeing that. Okay, this happened in the game. We're going to be fine. So it looks like, as Don Granato says, they maybe got out of their own heads.
Right. Do you feel there was just a real lag coming out of that break?
Yeah, there definitely was. They had to get going. Teams coming out of break that were playing teams that had played, like Calgary, were 10-31. Elliot Friedman had come up with that. So the Sabres weren't the only team. Tampa Bay lost 7-1 coming out of break.
Those are good statistics, yeah.
Tampa Bay's a good team, you know, so it happens. And they just had to get going, and now we'll see if the Anaheim game, they scored 5 consecutive goals, won the game, scored 7. Now they're putting the puck in the net again. Now let's see how they do against San Jose.
Paul Hamilton, thank you so much.